Hey, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Sunday Feast program. Um, my name is Anandarupa Das, so I will be doing the class today. And before we begin with the class, we will like to sing Jai Radha Madhava and following with invocation prayers, and then we would try to speak on Gajendra Moksha. Although it's a very elaborate topic and it's very one of the most glorious topics to speak on, and I feel very privileged to discuss this among devotees, and we will try our level best to cover it in 1 hour and touch upon some important lessons that we can learn from Gajendra and the beautiful prayers that he did to glorify the Lord, and that's what we will try to cover, and then followed by we will do half an hour kirtan, and that'll be the end of it. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajavana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunda Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol. जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमनंदी, हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वया रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं साग्ररघुनाथामितं सजीवम् साधुतं साधुं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपूर्णसिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपिका गोपिका कान्ता श्रीराधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरंगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वाकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणा कीर्तना हृदयन्तः स्तोहि अभद्राणि विधोनति सुरसतम्। नष्टप्रसभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नास्तिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते जस्तेजसे अविरविर्भवा वज्रनख वज्रदंश कर्माशा नंदय नंदय तमो ग्रस ग्रस ओम स्वाहा Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyishta Om Shra Om. Hare Krishna. So welcome to ISKCON Manchester's Sunday program. I hope you're all keeping safe and you're all keeping well. Today's topic of discussion will be story of Gajendra, the elephant, and the prayers that was sung by him in order to glorify the Lord. We seem that in today's world we are in quite similar position. We are into this lockdown where there's a virus going on, and we can actually learn a lot from Sri Gajendra ji. The praise that was offered by Gajendra is very much relevant in today's world. If we were to sing those prayers to glorify the Lord, maybe just maybe, the Lord might save us, like He saved Sri Gajendra ji. So the prayers, obviously, the prayers and the chapters in Bhagavatam is in Canto 8 from chapter 1 to chapter 4. It will be very hard for me to cover, and it'll be impossible to speak in 1 hour and glorify and touch on every topic. But I will try my best. So please forgive me if I go wrong, or if am speaking that is something out of context, and that is maybe not understandable. I'm more than happy to take questions later, but we'll try not to take questions in between. So please accept my humble obeisances, all the Vaishnavas, and please allow me to speak on Sri Gajendra Moksha. And thank you, Garunakraj Prabhu, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be able to speak something on Sri Gajendra ji and try to glorify the Lord. Most importantly, I simply and humbly give you my humblest dandavats. Hare Krishna. So, to build up a little bit background in where this Gajendra Moksha starts from and how this beautiful pastime came in place. So, very intelligently, Parishit Maharaj asked this question to Sri Shukadev, that please explain that story that glorifies the Lord in chapter 8. If we read, sorry, not chapter 8, Canto 8, in chapter 1, if you were to read the text 1 and 2, I'll read the translation, and you will be able to understand what I'm trying to explain. So there it says, King Parikshit said, "Oh my Lord, my spiritual master, now I have fully heard from you the grace of dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. But there are also other Manus, and I want to hear about their dynasties. Kindly describe them to us." And then after that, in verse 2, he's asked again to Sukadev Goswami that the great, O learned Brahman, Sukadev Goswami, the learned persons who are completely intelligent, described the activities of appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead during the various Manvantaras. We are very eager to hear these narrations. Kindly describe them to me. So, just to go and touch on the base again, the background story. So, what happened is the first Manu was Swayambhuva Manu, and he had two daughters, namely Akuti and Devahuti, and Yajna and Kapila, respectively. And because Sukadev Goswami had already described them in Canto 3 about Lord Kapila, so we're not going to go in details about that. So now the described activities is about the Yajna. The original Manu, along with his wife Satya Sarupa, went into the forest to practice austerities on the bank of river Sunanda. So they practiced austerities for hundreds of years. Rakshasa and Asuras then attempted to deviate them from their practices. And then, so then Yajna, accompanied by his son, the Yamas and the demigods, killed them. So Yajna personally took the post of Indra later on, the king of heavenly planet, and the second Manu, whose name was Sorochisha, was the son of Agni, and his sons were headed by Duyumat, Susena, and Rachismat. In the age of this, many demigods headed by Tusita. Sorry, I missed. So in this age of this Manu, Rochana, then Rochana became Indra, and there were many demigods that were headed by Tusista. There were also saintly persons such as Urja, Stamba. Along with them, Padasira, whose wife is Tusita, gave birth to Vibhu. So Vibhu instructed 80,000. He instructed 80,000 Dhridavratas or saintly persons on self-control and austerity. So Uttama, the son of Priyavrata, was the third Manu. Among his sons were Pavana, Sanjaya, and Yajnahotra. During this reign of Manu, the sons of Vasishtha, headed by Pramada, became the seventh saintly persons. So now the Satyas, Devastrutas, and Bhadras became demigods. So the Satyajit became Indra, and from the womb of Sunrata, the wife of Dharma, the Lord appeared at Satyasena, and he killed all the Yakshas and Rakshasa who were fighting with Satyajit. So now Tamas, the brother of the third Manu, was the fourth Manu, and he had 10 sons, and from where Prithu Maharaj, Kayati, Nara, Ketu were born. During his reign, the Satyakas, Haris, Viras, and other demigods, the seven great saints, were headed by Jyoti Dharma, and Trisikha became Indra. And like this, Harimedha begat a son named Hari in the womb of his wife Harini. So this Hari, now this Lord, an incarnation of the God, is the one who saved Gajendra. So this incident is described as Gajendra Moksha. So at the end of this chapter, Maharaj Parikshit, will ask about this incident. So this was the basic of and the background story of how Lord Hari, who was born from Harimedha and Harini, his wife Harini, and the male was Harimedha. They begat a son called Hari. So that Hari basically saved Gajendra. So that's where we're going to be studying today. So this story of Gajendra Moksha starts from the second chapter of Canto 8. So on the ocean of Shir Sagar, there's a famous mountain called Trikut, and it's a very famous mountain, as it's 10,000 yojan tall, and it's full of gold, and it's full of silver, and full of rubies, and it's full of all the different jewels that you can ever imagine. In Bhagavatam, it is explained that the waterfalls and the wildlife that you get there is so beautiful that it's indescribable. So it is a perfect scene that you can ever imagine, that has just come into Bhagavatam. So the waterfalls are falling, different bees and are roaming around, and different animals are doing their activities, and to the extent that it is so beautiful that it even attracts demigods and their wives. So like that, so this mountain called Trikut is very famous, and in this Trikut mountain, we see that there's different forests, and one of the forests, Gajendra is basically residing with his elephant inmates. So now Gajendra will go about his past life after we have explained what Gajendra does and how he becomes troublesome, and we'll tell about who Gajendra was and who the other Griha means the alligator who got Gajendra's leg. Who he was, we'll tell about that later. But let's focus on Gajendra and his life for now. So Gajendra, an elephant, was living with his female elephants, and he was having a perfect life. He was enjoying himself. He was his kids were running around, and he was the head of all the elephants there. And it is described that when he used to move and he used to keep his feet on the earth, on the ground, sorry, everything used to shake, everything used to vibrate because the impact, the force was so much. um, so like that, it was a very hot day, and they were having fun. They were going into the fields, uprooting all the fields, uprooting all the bamboo, and like they were going. So finally, they reached to the point where they got very thirsty. All the herd, they were looking for water because the sun was shining so hard. And then elephants have incredible smelling power, so they smelled where the water stream is flowing from, and then they followed Gajendra. All the herd was following Gajendra to quench their thirst. So finally, when they reached into the water, they drank, and they were having fun, and they were filling their trunks, and they were blowing the trumpets, and they were doing everything whatever they wanted to do. And they were rolling in the mud, they were cleaning themselves, and the kids were running around, and little baby elephants jumping up and down in the water. So this eventually made that alligator very angry. And so because he was residing in the water, so it is said that the turbulence made him very angry. So the turbulence made him angry, and the last one to come out of the water was Gajendra. So because of result of that, the alligator basically held Gajendra's leg with full force. Now they're both fighting, one to get out of the water and one to stay in the water, because alligators are more powerful when they're in the water and less powerful when they're on the land. And elephant is opposite. They're more powerful on the land, but they are less powerful in the water. So like that, in Bhagavatam, they explain that for 1,000 years, the battle was fought. That even shook the demigods. Even demigods were very, very worried what is going on. Gajendra is trying to fight for his life, and so is the alligator, Griha. Sorry, I keep saying Griha. Griha means alligator, and that's how it's explained. And they're both locked tight. So imagine the two forceful things is literally like a link, like a steel link. They're both pulling and pulling towards opposite sides. So it was very tight lock. They couldn't get out of each other's hold, and it got to the point where alligator was a lot more stronger, and it finally started to pull Gajendra into the water. Seeing this, Gajendra's wives and all the kids became very troubled, and they became very uh, sad to see that the leader of the herd, is gonna get eaten by the alligator. And now, because of Gajendra's past life and what he was in his past life, Gajendra was able to remember Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Lord Hari. And then Gajendra started to offer the prayers, and the prayers are very beautifully explained in Canto 3. In Canto 4, in Canto 3, the prayers are explained in 32 verses altogether. And those prayers, we will read those prayers as well, and you can recite with me if you would like. And so, but the point is that he's about to die, and he can see that the alligator is very powerful. Even then, yet he's able to remember Bhagwan. So please make note that at the time of the death as well, Gajendra's mindset is so powerful that he is able to remember Krishna, and he's able to remember and offer the prayers to Krishna, that's even more powerful. Forget about saving your life, forget about everything else, but you to glorify Lord in that time is so hard. To fix your mind in that consciousness is just very much not practical. So in verse 2, uh, again Canto 8 chapter 3, I would like to read a few prayers and few verses, because it's very auspicious to read those prayers. And later Shukadev Goswami explains that one who reads these prayers in Brahma Muhurta every single day, Lord gives them a very good intelligence to remember him at time of death, and his consciousness becomes very pure. So the prayers are like this. So Sri Gajendra Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yata Eta Chidatmakam Purushaya Dibijaya Pareshaya Vidhimahi. So in this particular verse, the very first verse of the very second verse of Canto 8 chapter 3, Prabhupada has given a very, very good purport actually, and he has explained how Yata Eta Chidatmakam, and what does that means, and how important that Yata Eta Chidatmakam is important. So Yata Eta Chidatmakam, what does that even mean, first of all? So the word, the literal translation is Etat. Yata means from who, Etat means the body of the material manifestation, Chitatmakam is moving due to the consciousness, the spirit soul, and Purushaya unto the Supreme Person. So the meaning of this verse is the king of elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my humble obeisances, respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personal Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva. And he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. This is so beautiful. So in this verse, especially the word Eta Chidatmakam are very, very important. The material body certainly consists of many material elements, but one who awakens to the Krishna consciousness understanding, then the body is no longer material. It becomes spiritual. And the material body is meant for sense enjoyment, whereas the spiritual body, it engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So therefore, being a devotee, our prime aim and our prime goal should be to engage into the service of Supreme Lord, and who constantly thinks and about him, and consider, and who doesn't consider too much about his material body and what will happen, what will I eat, and just meditates upon him. That therefore, enjoined by Guru say Nara Matihi, one should stop thinking of the spiritual master as an ordinary human being with a material body. So it's very, very important. So like that, let us therefore offer the obeisances unto the Supreme Lord of Godhead, by whose mercy so-called material things become spiritual. That is very powerful, and especially when they engage in the spiritual activity as well. So the next verse says, Yasmin nidam yataschedam yenedam yam idam swayam yosmat parasmach parah tam prapaddai swayam bhuvam. So I'm reading these verses especially because in these, especially the first few verses, although the whole chapter where Gajendra is offering his respects and his obeisances to the Lord is very important, but since we've got time constraints, I can't explain all the verses, but I can definitely go through a couple of verses with you. So in this verse, Gajendra is saying, "Oh, the Supreme Godhead, who is the supreme platform on which everything rests, the ingredients by which everything has been produced, and the person who has created and is only cause of cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, he is different from the cause and the result. I surrender unto him, the supreme personality of Godhead, who is self-sufficient in everything. This is amazing. This verse makes us realize how small we are. This makes us realize, especially the verse in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 4, where the Lord says, "Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyaktam murtine." It means I am the supreme personality of Godhead, but everything else rests upon me. My energy, just as the earth and pot rests on the earth. Um, Actually, I would like to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has actually explained really nicely. As confirmed in Shruti Mantra, yato va imam bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisham visanti. The original cause of everything is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after being annihilated, everything enters into him. Prakritam yanti mamikam. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna, is the cause of everything. Ishvara Paramahansa Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarva Karam Karanam. So, like that, Gajendra is giving his respect and his obeisances to the Lord. So, if you were to move forward a little bit, or to text 10, in text 10 is Gajendra is saying, Nama Atma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane Namo Giram Viduraya Manashastama Samapi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord of Godhead, the self-effulgent Supreme Soul, who is witness in everyone's heart. Atma Pradipane, whose intelligence, whose enlightens the individual soul, and who cannot be reached by exercise of the mind, words, or consciousness. Actually, this verse is very dear to me, because especially the word Atma Pradipa is very, very deep, and it has very deep meaning. And if one was to meditate on that, so especially when Nama means offer your humble obeisances, and Atma Pradipa means unto who is self-fulfilled and who is giving enlightenment to the living entities. So we must understand that there is a Paramatma within us who's giving us direction and who's witnessing everything and who is the reason of all the cause of the cause. And one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers. So now in the mode where the whole world is going into the crisis, if we were to meditate on these kind of verses every single day, and if you were to even recite or chant Gajendra Moksha every day, you just feel and just realize where your consciousness will be. How much purity just by reading few verses has given us, right? So it gives us so much to think about, so much to actually meditate upon. Because when we chant every day and we think, oh, what should I focus on? What should I focus on? This is actually the verses to focus on. Because think about it, our mind can go everywhere, but due to these kind of beautiful pastimes, and especially focusing on the devotees of the Lord, like Gajendra, our mood can become more pure. And we can meditate while we are chanting on these prayers, what was offered to the Lord by Gajendra. And our chanting can purify the environment and ourselves. And in this mode of crisis that we are in right now, our mind will not be bewildered, and our mind won't be troubled by all of these problems that are around us. It will be constantly thinking and engaging into to the Bhagwan. And what will happen eventually, that all these viruses will, and all the troubles that we are having, they won't bother us that much, because we know that Bhagwan came right at the end, and he saved Gajendra, he saved Prahlad Maharaj, he saved Parikshit Maharaj. There are so many good examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. So my humble request would be to really meditate upon these verses. These verses can change your life, especially Srimad Bhagavatam can change your life. And especially meditating upon these kind of beautiful prayers offered by the pure devotees of the Lord can really make someone think what is the higher purpose of life, and how small we are into this massive creation, and these little problems don't even matter that much. So moving forward, there's another really beautiful verse that I would like to read, and it actually explains different forms of the Lord. It's verse 12. Nama Shantaya Ghoraya Muraya Gunadharmine Nirvisheshaya Samyaya Namo Jnana Ghanaya Cha. Especially the word Namo Jnana Ghanaya Cha is very important in this verse. So what is Gajendra saying to Bhagwan? He's saying, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Lord Vasudeva, who is all pervading, to the Lord's fierce form as Lord Nrsimhadev, to the Lord's form as an animal, Lord Varahadev, to Lord Dattatreya, who's preached impersonalism to Lord Buddha, and to all the other incarnations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has no material qualities, and but who accepts three qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances to the impersonal Brahman effulgence. So the word here, Namha Jnana Gnaya Cha, that means, what does that mean? I offer my respectful obeisances, who is knowledge, Jnana, who's got all the Jnana, who's the supreme Brahmana. And in this, in this particular verse and in the previous verse, Gajendra has really glorified the Lord, and he said, Satvena pratilabhyaya naishkarmena vipaschita nama kaivalya nathaya nirvana sukha samvida. So samvide. So in this verse, Gajendra has explained how Lord has killed all the demons in the past, and he has really explained it well, that covering from let me read it out for you. So he has said that so he is here. It's mentioned very clearly. Devotional service is called Naishkarmaya, right? And in the previous verse, it has explained and described the Supreme Personality has no material form. He accepts innumerable forms to favor his devotees, and he accepts innumerable forms to devotees and to kill the demons. So it's stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many incarnations of of Bhagwan, that they are like the waves of the water or the river. The waves of the river flow incessantly, and no one can count how many times the waves have come and gone. Similarly, no one can calculate how many different incarnations the Lord has taken. So, in I think it was in verse 7 of verse 7, chapter 4, where Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. And whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practices, O Bharata, I come down, and predominant rise of irreligion. At that time, I descend myself. So, in after this Gajendra Moksha, there's actually the pastime where Bhagwan has taken a Kachha avatar, Kurma avatar. And at that time, in the beginning, when all the demigods are going to Lord Brahma to get a solution of the problem that they had, because the Swargaloka, or the heavenly planets, was occupied by King Bali. So King Bali took Indra's kingdom and basically made all the demigods homeless. So then demigods went to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma, in that, Shukadev Goswami is explaining in one of the verses by giving an example, saying that if just if, right, you were to take this earth, put it into a giant machine, somehow or other get it crushed into little pieces, and even the great personalities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and others were to separate all the and count all the particles, even then the glorification and the qualities of the Lord will be less. Now think about it and meditate upon this, that how small and how insignificant we are. Even then, the Lord comes and saves us and listens to us in the way that no one can hear, because Paramatma is residing within us. So that was just an example to make you feel that the problems that we have are not permanent and they're not that big. Imagine Gajendra was fighting with this alligator for 1,000 years, not 1,000 celestial years, but earth years. No one even live for 1,000 years. And imagine they were fighting for 1,000 years. So think about the fact that how much pain would he be in, and what mindset Gajendra would have. Even then, he was able to meditate on the Lord at the very last moment. So after this, when Gajendra has offered his prayers, and it is explained very beautifully in Srimad Bhagavatam that Bhagwan at once accepts his prayers, and Bhagwan comes on his Garuda Dev. But Garuda is actually flying slow. So what Bhagwan does, he jumps off the Garuda Bhagwan and he comes with his Sudarshan and chops the head off alligator. So one may say that, Garuda is so fast as it is. It is explained that Garuda can fly at the speed of mind. So imagine Bhagwan thought that Garuda, my devotee, is in trouble, and Garuda is flying little slow. So how quickly a mind can travel? 1 minute you can think about Manchester, another, not even a minute, like microsecond, you can think about Vrindavan, and all of a sudden you'll have Vrindavan in your mind, right? Imagine at that speed, Garuda Bhagwan is flying, and even then Bhagwan is saying, "Oh, my devotee is in trouble, and Garuda is flying slow. Let me jump off him and go and save Gajendra." That's how much eager the Lord is to help the devotees. So we should really learn these prayers and try to recite them in Brahma Muhurta every day. I know it's a big commitment, but at least we should try, because maybe not in this lifetime we might not remember all these prayers, and we might not be able to chant them on time or whatever the rules and regulations are. But it will go with us, because the consciousness travels even when you leave this body. So in some other birth, we might remember these prayers and we might be able to go back to Godhead one day, just on behalf that we can offer the same prayers that Gajendra offered. So, what happened then? So Bhagavad after the prayers were sung, and then the alligator who was killed, he all of a sudden he became a Gandharva, and Gajendra, who was in the form of the Lord, sorry, not the form of the Lord, but the form of elephant, he was saved. And at once he was transferred to the spiritual planet. And now one may ask, okay, how is that possible? Okay, of course it is possible by many factors, because obviously Gajendra was a pure devotee of the Lord, and he because he sang beautiful prayers, and he had Bhagavad Darshan, he had Bhagwan Darshan there and then. And these are three big reasons for him to go back to Godhead and become a Parashad of Bhagwan. So what happens is, so obviously the alligator was killed. So he was a Gandharva called Huhu. So he was given a curse, hence to take the form of alligator. So hence he was liberated by the Lord. So so the alligator was Huhu, and the elephant Gajendra was King Indradyumna, and King Indradyumna had his story. So the King Indradyumna was a very well known king, and he basically left his kingdom and he went on a mountain called Malay Parvat. Malay Parvat. Malay means the name of the mountain, and Parvat means the mountain. So he went on the Malay Parvat, and he went there to live. So he left all his kingdom. He gave up all his duties, and he grew his hair, and he was just start doing meditation, and uh, he was just concentrating and meditating upon the Lord. And um, Agastya Muni, he came there with his disciples, and then he saw that how irresponsible of him to leave all his duties and responsibilities and just become a yogi. He cannot do that. That's not his place right now. So he cursed him. He cursed him that you should become an elephant, and because your mind is so dull, you can't even think that you've got responsibilities. Or I shouldn't go to the forest, and I shouldn't live like a sannyasi. And you, without realizing that, you just left. So hence you should become an elephant. And that time, King Indudumna, he became elephant in his next life. But because of his meditation, because of his bhakti, because of his spiritual practices that he did and his sadhana, Bhagwan gave him that vardhan that you will not forget me. Even if you are in the body of elephant, you will not forget me, no matter what. You'll still remember me. That's the reason that Gajendra was able to remember all the prayers, and that's why before speaking he meditated, and he focused his body and his mind, and he brought that to the focus, and then he offered those prayers. That was the story of Gajendra and Huhu. Huhu means the alligator. So now to link up this story to what we are in right now. Obviously, I've touched on the basis here and there that we are into the crisis, and we should strongly study these prayers, and we should indulge ourselves into the pastime of the Lord, to forget what's happening in the world right now and to focus on the Lord. And because how Bhagwan very eagerly saved Gajendra, he will save us as well. We have nothing to worry. And it is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. I will actually like to read out that to you. That any person who reads this in Brahma Muhurta, Krishna promises that at once he will get a very clean conscience, and he will be able to come any body that he goes in, the soul travels in. Purity, Gajendra has offered these prayers to Bhagwan. So I think the takeaway from this class and this little discussion that we did, and attempt to glorify Gajendra and Bhagwan, should be that we should promise and we should indulge ourselves more into bhajan and kirtan, and we should have that eagerness to learn more about Bhagwan and his pure devotees, because this will help while we chant. This will help us immensely, because imagine 4 rounds you're thinking about Gajendra, 4 rounds you're thinking about Bhagwan killing Putna. 4 rounds you're thinking about how Parikshit Maharaj decided to fast for 7 days and just listen to the glories of the Lord. And like that, 12 rounds are gone, and last 4 you can think about your spiritual master, that you are actually reading these you're making him listen Hare Krishna Mahamantra to your supreme your spiritual masters. Like in the, so in this mood we can actually dedicate all our chanting to the Lord, and of course Bhagwan will accept it if we were to even pay little attention to that. So I would humbly request all the devotees that we should chant these prayers. We should and we must do our chanting in the same mode. The japa should be done in the same mode, not just for your own benefit, even for the benefit of the world. And we can pray to the Lord to save us from the crisis that we are in right now, and He can give us that subuddhi, and He can give us that intelligence to always be in the constant mind frame, so that we can offer these prayers wherever and whichever conditions we are in. So I will give the katha stop now. So if you have made any comments that are not suitable, please forgive me. And I just very sincerely tried to explain Gajendra Moksha in merely 50 minutes, and that's not justice to the Gajendra prayers. But if you've got any questions, you can ask here, or if you've got any comments or any additions to this, please feel free to give me a call and comment on it. That would be very much appreciated. Hare Krishna. Please stay tuned. We will be doing some kirtan now for half an hour, and I would say that maybe let's focus on what we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, and maybe we can do kirtan in the same mood. It will be very good, and we can really focus on the prayers that Gajendra ji offered to the Lord, and yes, thank you for your comments. Thank you so much for your love and affection towards me. I'm very grateful that I'm here and I'm able to share my experiences with devotees. And you all are very good listeners, and you've stayed in tune, and you bared with my with my ill translation. I am not the perfect speaker, I know, but I'm trying my best. So let's do some kirtan, and my wife Veena Vadni will start kirtan. Hare Krishna.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत शिवसरी गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you for being with us and listening to us. I hope to see you all very soon. Hare Krishna.